A wrestler's value is typically demonstrated by what they are capable of doing in the ring and on the mic. In many, if not most instances, the talent in the WWE is exactly where they should be. However, there are a few cases where great talent is saddled with difficult circumstances. It seems appreciation of their value has gone out the window, and they are left simply to take what they are given. All talent is valued, however in the fans' eyes, there are some instances where the best wrestlers aren't always on TV. So here are 10 wrestlers that are underappreciated right now in the WWE. Being the inaugural Cruiserweight Champion after winning the Cruiserweight Classic, it appeared as though everything was headed in the right direction for TJP, but that didn't continue to be the case. After losing his title to the Brian Kendrick, Perkins was at a bit of a crossroads. It took some time, but eventually he turned heel and went in a new direction. With the change in character, there also came a name change to the shortened TJP. Since then, though, it is evident that he remains underappreciated. Watching him in the ring, his smooth technique was something to marvel. He has been able to achieve so much despite not being in the title picture. However, him not being in a program or being considered a threat for the title, despite being a former champion and an effective heel, demonstrates that there is a lack of appreciation. It's a shame that he isn't nearly as prominent as he was before. He's the man with the plan. After returning to the company for the Cruiserweight Classic, Kendrick was an immediate sentimental favorite. After several years spent away from the company, many wondered whether or not it was simply a one-time return for Brian Kendrick, or if it was the start of a new run with the company. However, when the event was over, it was announced that Kendrick would debut as a part of the new Cruiserweight roster. After using less than scrupulous means to capture the title, it seemed like his role as a champion was to be the face of the brand. However, his title reign was short-lived and Kendrick suffered the same fate as the previous champion TJP. While he has been involved in a number of different programs since losing the title, he has yet to get an opportunity to be the champion once again. One has to wonder when or if that opportunity will come. What he adds to the product is certainly neglected today. How could the inaugural SmackDown Women's Champion be considered underappreciated? The question answers itself because since her championship reign, Lynch has had a very distinct role. She has helped to elevate others on the roster by repeatedly losing matches. After losing the SmackDown Women's title, she has just been used to make others look fantastic. While some may say that she actually is appreciated by WWE because they know they can rely on her to make others look good, she can really only do this for so long before she is granted her chance. Once again, becoming a champion either on SmackDown or Raw, if she has ever moved, shows her value. Lynch is capable of doing so much, is over with the fans, and thus not having her considered a threat is very unfortunate. She had the greatest undefeated streak in the modern era. She was the longest reigning NXT champion in the history of the brand. Today, however, since moving to SmackDown Live, Asuka's current role no longer consists of being a force to be reckoned with on the roster. Asuka shouldn't be defeated so handedly without providing much of a challenge. Her current booking suggests that she can easily be distracted and confused, whereas that didn't happen in NXT. Asuka is advertised as the Empress of Tomorrow, but today she isn't seen as the same threat that she was during her time in NXT. She's been dominant all over the world, and especially in NXT, but since coming to the main roster and to SmackDown Live, her momentum has been lost. While saying Daniel Bryan is underappreciated, it may seem ridiculous, but it really shouldn't come off as a surprise. Many have been patient, though Bryan has been introduced back to the roster without a clear direction. His first singles match after his return was against the WWE Champion AJ Styles. That should have been the beginning of Bryan being used in a prime position and competing for the title. However, the counter to that argument was that the company likely wanted to ease him back after his return to the ring. However, what has happened is that he was booked against someone that wouldn't be considered a threat or a challenge in Big Cass. Since then, he was booked as a part of a championship match, but for the SmackDown Live Tag Team titles, reuniting him with Kane. If they had booked him as a threat, they would have shown how much they appreciated him. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. The underdog from the underground may be injured now, but he was underappreciated prior to that. During his time on both Raw and SmackDown, Zayn was often booked as the talent with the heart that couldn't win the big one. During his feuds, he was often made to look like the lovable loser. He would be competitive in his matches and come close to winning, but ultimately came out on the losing end. Even after undergoing a character change and becoming a heel, Zayn was still booked to lose his feud with Bobby Lashley. He was injured well before that match, but still competed hard and helped bring the program to a conclusion. Zayn has the heart and will of a champion and should be booked. However, that hasn't been the case for the majority of his time on the roster. Zayn is expected to be out of action for some time, but even before that, the promotion didn't see his true value. When he joined WWE as a part of NXT, Apollo Crews was thrust into some fairly competitive matches against the likes of Baron Corbin, Samoa Joe, and Tye Dillinger. His time with NXT was not long, and he was brought up to the Raw roster as a part of the first draft by Raw and SmackDown Live. At first, it seemed as though Crews was slated for better things as he was now a part of the SmackDown roster. However, nothing materialized as he appeared to be an enhancement talent for the most part. Since moving back to Raw, he has now formed a partnership with Titus O'Neil. This pairing only scratches the surface of how much he can do. Given more time, he could demonstrate how much he could do in the ring as a single star. As it stands, he continues to be underappreciated, even though he could be thrust into more meaningful feuds and given an opportunity to hold the title. As a tag team, these two men are a classic duo whose in-ring style is a throwback to great tag teams from decades earlier. During their time in NXT, they captured the NXT tag team titles on two separate occasions. When they were brought to the Raw roster, Dash and Dawson had the support of the fans who knew exactly what these two were capable of doing. However, a combination of bad luck and unfortunate circumstances contributed to the team not being used. Injuries plagued both members, but once they were able to get past their injury troubles, they haven't been used the way they were in NXT. This begs the question of if they will ever be used in a major storyline and be contenders for the titles. If the current state of the Revival is any indication, it doesn't appear as though a championship reign is in their immediate future. These men were champions in Japan, and they captured the Raw Tag Team titles during their time in WWE. However, looking at the entirety of their time with the company, it appears as though they aren't shown much appreciation. They may be the good brothers, but they have not been used as effective brothers. Today, Gallows and Anderson are part of the SmackDown Live roster, but are on the outside looking in. The only recent attention they've garnered is for Carl Anderson's abs. They've deserved more than that, and for all their contributions to the sport, so to see it squandered is disappointing. Is another title reign a possibility for these two? There is no question that they are capable. However, if they aren't booked to succeed, then they will fail to make an impact moving forward. He is unquestionably a perfect 10. However, since being called up to the SmackDown Live roster, Tye Dillinger has almost been perfectly absent from TV. It's surprising since his hard work and character development generate a good reaction from the crowd. The Perfect 10 began as simply an overconfident character that believed he was better than everyone else. However, it's now evolved into a self-confidence that can even be appreciated by the fans. His message changed to an inspirational one that said that everyone is a Perfect 10. They just need to believe it and work to achieve it. Dillinger is such a natural in the ring. At one time it seemed as though he was going to be a part of a program with Baron Corbin and AJ Styles, but since his appearances on TV have been few and far between, fans appreciate him and want to see him compete. Do the powers that be feel the same? It doesn't appear so.
You stay here! You stay here with Stephanie! You take me to him! Take me to the son of a bitch! Take me to him! Come on! Go! 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 Where's the son of a bitch? Where is he?
And these are 10 wrestlers that are underappreciated right now in the WWE. I hope you're all having an amazing day. Thank you so much for watching Wrestling Hub, and I'll see you later with more videos.